Yeah, but of course he had a lot and interesting moments where you had the boxing, of course, in ACT trying to move a lot. Now this time round he had a lot, but of course it was a nice one. I was in Koboko. I tried watching from there and everything was good. But this time round. Most welcome. Let's start it from here. A lot of actions coming in there. We talked about the nightmares for English clubs yesterday. But of course, this time round, let's start with the home is home. And one of the biggest, remember, we didn't talk about also, we didn't give views about a few of the names who probably went with the FUFA Awards in there. We'll be giving you a few in highlights. But of course, that is all in all. So, Oscar, most welcome. And it's been a long time, bro.
Well, thank you. Yesterday was a marvelous one, just talking about boxing. I got to learn so many things about, particularly focusing on, there's a difference between kickboxing, there's a difference between taekwondo, there's a difference between the real boxing we actually know. So I felt it was a very, very good thing that I also learned. And I also pledged that I was going to challenge Arafat in the ring.
No wonder we're having social distancing, because anytime when you could be seeing in there, just like how people mistake it that 26th of December is Boxing Day, and people think it is all about boxing, but that's not the way, and we're looking at all that. Now let's turn our focus away from there and start it with the FUFA Awards, where of course you did a couple of categories that came through in there. Out of that, you did also one of the biggest category, that was of course the male player of the year, the female player of the year, and of course you did see the coach of the year. We saw the favorites already. Fahad Bayo was already fans favorite. And then I want to just talk about a few that we would love to talk about for those who didn't know, and for those who of course saw it maybe on this other platforms. But of course, a couple of things that came in there, and then of course also in the other statement, where of course the federation chairman or the federation president did also say a few of the words we'll be giving you right there. But let's start with of course the male category, where of course Bobosi Biaruhanga got it or won it. And then of course on their game against KCCA, he also did score a very, very marvelous thunderbolt, a cracker outside the 18-yard box to make sure that they got level with the KCCA in there at St. Mary's Stadium. Did he deserve that for that award, Bobosi Biaruhanga? He has a brand new car that he's going to be driving.
Well, he has really tried something this time around. He really tried. Though I really expected somebody from Express to win this, because Express has really done a lot, being the defending champions, winning in the Sekafa. I expected the other gentleman from Express to have actually won. His name is skipping off my mind. I don't know whether it is
there's Azizi Kayondo who was there.
I don't. There's that striker of theirs, that gentleman who does shirt number 7. He has tried his best, but all the same, I think just like I said on this show some time back, that when you get to this show, the most important thing is how many people can you rally to vote for you. That is how tricky it is. It's not how effective you are. You know, at the end of the day, every award is going to be controversial. Even Palm Award is controversial. Even Grammys Award is controversial. Because I've always been asking myself if Grammy Awards was just that type of award that is so fair, in my opinion. Why is it that Tarrus Riley has never even been nominated? Why is it that he has never even won? So when I start seeing around the good reggae artists like I-Octane, now they've never come close. So I keep wondering, but that doesn't mean they're not talented. Even when you come here, there was the recent award that I call Scam in town. Also had its controversy. So, but at the end of the day, with due respect to people outside, it doesn't mean that those awards are bad. But at the end of the day, you're not going to fulfill everyone's expectation. That is one key fact. But now, the issue here is that everything depends on numbers. How many people have voted for you? I expected, in my opinion, FUFA should come up with a list of some people who are going to vet, basing on statistics, basing on form, basing on how the players have performed. That is how I expect it to be. The same way I don't agree with how the man of the match awards are given in the UPL.
Pitch.
I don't agree.
In the pitch.
In the pitch, I don't agree. There are
match days.
There are games now, like the game
today.
The game today, I think it's also going to be controversial. Just like in the previous game, where I expected Shaban, but another player was named. So at the end of the day, it's some few people's feelings that, you know what, let us give it to this particular.
Or let us motivate Swanso.
Yes, let
so
us.
So that he can play next time better.
That is how it is. But all the same, to me, I think even the one Muhammad Shaban won was just because of how many numbers Onduparaka was supposed to, actually, the number of voters Onduparaka actually gunned for him to win. That was how it is. So the most important thing here is that I agree that this is how it is, but we can actually change some things. I expect journalists to be brought on board, those who know the game, and those who have the ability to really and be trained on how this is supposed to be done. First of all, you ask yourself the most important question: what is the criteria of coming with this? Apart from, like now, just that this applies to how the game, the man of the match is being awarded. But when it comes to this award, I know it's all about the numbers. If they nominate you, I know because you are a close colleague, there's no way I would want to see you fail. I have to garner as much vote as possible for you. That is how it is.
Now, let's look at some of those things. Probably the producer will be giving us a clip of or photos of what really came in there. We'll be giving you one by one. And one of them is that Bobosi Biaruhanga, who got, of course, that who was the winner of the male category. And then we had the female category. Of course, you have the likes. We had the likes of Najemba. You had the likes of Daisy. And then, of course, all being in that category. But, of course, this time around, it is Fauza and Najemba who took it, and it was a very good one. She also goes with a brand new car, and that is it. Did she deserve it?
Well, I hope she's from Lady Doves.
Yeah.
Because if you talk about games of ladies tournament, honestly, there's no way you're going to escape talking about Lady Doves. There is a challenge that that team gives to the whole of the country, that the ladies as well can perform. I've always said that when you get to interesting moments, when you bring any sporting activity, when you come to a case and point in West Nile, you are always going to have the talent. We all saw what happened at Nyadri. My cameraman was surprised on how ladies can do chest control, they can control the ball where they can shoot.
Oh, they can shoot, yeah.
And the talent is there. The only thing that, can we have some people who are basically going to be looking at developing the talent, especially those ladies who play football. So I think it's there. Now, putting that aside, I think that lady deserves that award. And honestly, for now, we think ladies football is centralized, not because it's their own making, but I think because people there see much more value in it. But I think these type of awards are supposed to give us an idea. What should we actually do best, especially from this side? How can we borrow a leaf and actually make it better? And to summarize the ladies thing, if I can borrow a leaf from West Nile, I think there was a very unfortunate incident that the ladies who are traveling, I think to Moyo,
the Moyo ladies,
were beaten by the police force.
Who saying they were enforcing curfew?
You see, when they are enforcing curfew, I agree it is your mandate to enforce curfew. But you also know that the role of a police officer is to protect and serve. The only way where a police can use force is when, one, you are to be arrested and they have to apply minimum force, a minimum force. Two, is when, if you are resisting arrest, they can apply force. But in this point, we ask ourselves where they are resisting arrest. Their car had broken down. But is that any way, was that their own making? I don't think that was their own making. Besides, I think these days in Arua, I must be also fair to police, that when they get you, the first thing they do, they first tell you, please, they remind you, you are now past time. Can you please go home? And they ask you nicely. I am wondering, what was so difficult to see that these are a group of ladies from somewhere? It's not by mistake that that group can be at that very point there. They should have actually been nice to ask what happened. And if there's anything, the first help was supposed to come from police, how to rescue them. Because they are girl child, they're at risk. So I really think next time, police should do better. And again, the organizers of the game should also as well do better. when you notice, just like that they were re-echoing, that we know there are some teams that have come from far, they need to go. But you know that curfew is still in place. You're supposed to alert wherever they're going. You know what? We are sending a team, and this team is for reason ABC that they're traveling at this time. I think that communication as well, that I don't know whether the region through Moses actually made that, because they are supposed to do that. And on the other side as well, I don't know whether the team officials communicated well to the police, because sometimes they could also be at fault. But all the same, I think police still has a responsibility to protect and serve.
Now, of course, this makes a very big one, but of course, we're still giving you on that. This is things that happen. But when we look at the names that went through, you were talking about Eric Kambale, of course, who was for Express, and he didn't go in the last three. And you did see the nominees, a trio from that is Vipers team, where you had, of course, Bobosi Biaruhanga, Aziz Kayondo, who was also in that very team. And then, of course, Eunice Sentamu, who were the names in there. And then, of course, a couple of names, and that is the coaches. You had Hussein Balangu, you had Waswa Bosa, and then, of course, you had the man by the names of Mori Biekwa. So, but this time round, of course, my producer will be showing you that it was the man by the names of course, Waswa Bosa, who was the coach of the year 2021. I don't know whether you could agree with this, but of course, he went with that trophy.
Well, honestly speaking, the appointment, the award being given to Waswa Bosa is on point. Nobody expected Waswa Bosa to actually win the league, because from the word go, Express was seen as an underdog.
Yeah.
In fact, there was the other former coach of URA that I expected to have been on the list. The other one who went neck to neck. Yes, Sam Simba. I expected Simba to be on this list. Simba just missed narrowly. Had it not been because of some
left maybe
bit of politics played around. Now, even if he had left, why was Hussein Balango given? Hussein Balango, not because of Mbarara City,
but because of
Arua Hill.
Unbeaten record.
Yes, that is why Hussein Balango was nominated. So I still expected. I didn't expect Mole Biekwaso in that list, but I expected at least Sam Simba. Now, Waswa Bosa did well. He won the league, surprisingly, just like the way Claude Ranieri surprised everyone with Leicester City, won the Barclays Premier League. Apart from that, he went and won the Sekafa. So you would honestly think that he really did a lot. And again, participated, I think, for the very first time in nearly 10 years to take Express to CAF Champions League. That was a plus for me. So I don't actually disagree with that. I think it was on point that he won it. I would have been surprised if it was given to Mole Biekwaso instead. But all the same, I think this one, I really think that it was fair. There's a fair judgment here.
Of course, in that very big one, you also did see a couple of categories that came through. But of course, awards have been given to different.
I don't know who is the fan of the year this time around, because those ones are already given.
By the way, but
because the fans of the year. And my other question to the organizers, and I would request my producer to put me on the screen to first ask. I will expect it to be very, very, very clear. When are you, FUFA, going to start awarding journalists? Because journalists in the game equally do more when it comes to publicity. When are the journalists going to start getting awards? If you can award fans, if you can award different categories, why are you ignoring the major stakeholder in the game? That is the journalist. Even the government consider them as the fourth arm. In the game of sports, the first and the most important stakeholder is a journalist who works for a media house. So when are you going to start awarding media houses? When are you going to start awarding journalists? That is the big question I want FUFA to answer. It's
a question to you, probably, who is also watching, and I know very many would be asking. But of course, let's go to one man by the names of Mark Sally, who was awarded as the FUFA, or the best FUFA president of that is the year 2021. Producer, you give us Mark Sally's,
Mark Sally?
Of course, yes. Who that is the man. He has been awarded as, of course, the president. The FUFA president award goes to him. That is one thing.
Okay, FUFA just decided to award him
Yes.
Just giving him that
exactly.
award. Okay, I might think out of not humanitarian grounds. I know Mark Saleh has had a history of being one of the most respected journalists, a sports journalist that I know, that has inspired many. And I would honestly think that this is one of the awards. I don't know whether the intent has been because Fufa thinks he has been a journalist in the game. But honestly speaking, his award might be good, but I don't know the intention. But if it is because he was a journalist and somebody has contributed to the game, he has really done his part. I remember his days at Vision Group. I remember him working for various media houses. In papers, you will see him alongside Aldrin Subuga. I mean, a couple of other names that you actually see around. But honestly, I still insist, I don't know the reason why it was given, but all the same, I am happy because he's one of the sports personalities that this country actually celebrates.
Exactly, that's the reason why I brought him as the last, and it's one of the biggest things we are advocating for, because journalists do a lot. The stakeholding is all from down to, that is the level in there. But of course, all in all, Federation of Uganda Football Association President, I'm talking about the man, of course, Honorable Engineer Moses Magogo. I did say out that, of
and
course,
also His Excellency
in 2022 he's going to be, of course, Fufa will have a television, according to what he's saying, to promote the Ugandan sports right there. In his speech, probably he said a lot that came through that way. Of course, Magogo has been so active in this league, but of course now the question comes, what exactly, or how will, of course, the launch of Fufa TV promote Ugandan sports in Uganda?
You know, it just makes me laugh. But I keep drawing, asking questions from, how much has the Fufa FM done? Yes, you're thinking of bringing the TV. I agree, it is good. It is a good development.
What about the radio?
But how much has the radio done?
And how big is the frequency of the radio?
Yes, where does it reach?
Within
it is a central thing.
It is central.
But I expected Fufa, with all this funding, because you have regions, Fufa was supposed to also have frequencies within. You can have a frequency for
West Nile.
For West Nile,
Northern region.
The problem I will have with it is that you want to take it to Yumbe. That is where I will have a problem. Yes, that's the problem I will have. Because
but offices in Yumbe,
so
you can have the
business prospects. If NGOs can travel from there to have talk shows in Arua, what does that mean? How is the other one doing? So no. the most important thing is that they should make it in a central place. That would be my plea, if my opinion is to be thought about this. Yes, bringing it, first of all, before you think of the TV, have the radio. You think of having West Nile here. If you can have their TV, their radio here, the radio is going to, your focus is to develop sports, which is a plus. And again, it will not only stop there, it will create employment for various stakeholders. Okay, let's say for people who are going to work there, there are so many employment opportunities that could actually come. And at the end of the day, you will clinch many deals in sponsorship. Of course, can all inject money into the economy of a region, if not the whole country. And now, apart from this, you also get Northern have theirs. You have Central now that they have Fufa FM. You have in all the regions, even the Eastern. Now, that will be a good thing to lay on. Now, as you think of having a TV, where are you going to put the TV in? And is that
Fufa just you've seen the Bidiba project, or the Chidiba project, which is going on. Recently we talked about it, where of course you saw they are trying to do infrastructure, probably trying to put here and there, trying to develop the place, and that place is vast. It has a lot that they can put in there, so the TV can still be put in there. Even at Mengo, it is still a big place that they can have offices.
I have been a very keen follower of Magogo. And one of the things he has pledged is to promote grassroots football. The step he took in grassroots football was to come with the initiative of Fufa Odilo tournament, the one that focuses on primary schools. Now, you want to focus on grassroots football. Remember the challenge we highlighted here was that several clubs, even within Arua here, may find themselves with no playing grounds to start when the regional league will start. So which grassroots football are you focusing on? Where is even a plot of even a football field that is for FUFA in this region? Where is it? It's not there. But if you talk about organizations, let me give you an example of UNATO. Everywhere UNATO where they have their branch, there is an office. Every district. At least in a district, FUFA should think of, let us work maybe with a primary school and say, you know what? We are going to come into an MOU with you. We are going to develop this, not like to putting up a big facility, but put up a green surface with a changing room and something that is that can suit some level, a standard that is accepted, and then you have all major tournaments, or maybe that could be a starting point. That, you know what, we have actually developed this. The region, whatever activity the region has now, like there was that thing that was hosted in Maracha. You also the structures, the structure that the ladies played in. Now, if FUFA had one football pitch, let's say for example that one that the ladies played on, they developed it. That would be a good starting point. Each time you're hosting an event, you know we have our facility. It is there. Now, that will be a step of promoting grassroots football. Then you sell the idea to the local government. At least every, the schools, I know they have a budget for co-curricular development, but they may not inject all of it in creating the facility. So I believe that will be the first step, rather than starting a TV, to me. Now, as the TV gets into the picture, you would have done the simple one, the basics. Now, from there, you can even say, okay, we are going to have now regional tournaments. Now that a regional league, at least every team will know that we are playing a regional league, but at least there is a pitch where we can play from, a standard pitch where we can play from. So I think, to me, these initiatives, they are bringing many more of them at the end, and at the end of the day, if you have too many things to focus on, you start dragging behind. I'm meant to understand that there's a president for is it FUFA Junior League? Your friend.
Yeah, he's supposed to.
You need to challenge him to come here.
Because I
have a lot of questions for you. You need to just challenge him.
We are going to be taking a break shortly, but of course, before we take that break, I want to say it's interestingly that you are having a couple of things that are coming in there, and out of that is what Oscar is talking about, a lot of things that are happening. But in that, I don't want to forget the federation, or there's a FUFA referees course going on at Koboko. Out of that, we are not going to talk about it right now, but it's going on for one full week.
We can.
I want us to, the producer will show me some of the retired referees who has the FIFA badge. Yesterday, of course, Federation was recalling them, and some of these names who are right there in front of us. Credit probably to Federation because they have kept this for quite a long time. And if you look from that is left to right, you will see that Georgia Katumba is the man from the left, and then of course following is Ajab Waiswa, who of course has been a FIFA referee in Uganda. And then of course Dick Nsubuga is the next, and the second last, and then of course the last is Charles Masembe. That is the man who has been
have a history
right
with
there.
Masembe and in South Africa.
Probably. That is how they are. Credit to them, and of course well done to Uganda. At the same time, well done Federation for reminding us about these key referees. And probably let's now go back to the referees course that is going on at that is Koboko. Of course the clips we would be giving you, but of course tomorrow we shall be giving you how it's going on there. And the instructor is a very, very happy man. He loves fun. He has the fans, and of course people enjoying. We'll be giving you some of the clips by tomorrow. But Oscar, let's take it there. Do you think out of all that, is this the best initiative? It is, according to the reports I got, indicates that this is going to be, it is regionally. Of course, it's regional in the same region, West Nile, but of course divided to sub-regions because people like the Nyagake and the Elgon, that's how it's been developed, or the Renzori and that. Why? Because the distance may not favor all the West Nilers to go to Koboko district. Koboko district is where the chairman of a federation of West Nile is sitting. Now the CEO sits in Yumbe and the chairman
chairman is from Koboko.
And that's where the activity is taking
chairman
place.
Chairman is from Koboko. And I'm not surprised.
So let's look at this. How good is it for our own referees? These are yet beginners courses for the referees.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the most important things that I've always been looking forward to, that in West Nile we should have initiatives like this. Now, one of the reasons why I support initiatives like this is because we all know that we lack very competent referees. And besides, I've always been envisioning West Nile to be a powerhouse of Ugandan sports, because there is no talent you don't get in West Nile. Whether you bring hockey, whether you bring, there's the baseball, there's softball, West Nile.
They brought football here and West Nile as we're active.
They have the talent. Now, why I look at this as a plus is that for us to achieve that dream of being the powerhouse, we need to have all these stakeholders in sports empowered. If we can have, in the next 10 years, we have referees like 10 of them who have FIFA badge, and 10 of them who have FUFA badge, and others who can, 10 of them, even more than 10 who can officiate at regional level,
regional badges.
Then there are others at regional league, at the FUFA big league level. Then there are majority of them at Uganda Premier League level. Of course, for now, the people whom I know, I don't think they can reach. Can they reach 5? Those who have FIFA badge and those who are able to officiate games at the top tier. Because I know of Oloya, I know of Howard Musa. Who else in Arua? There was supposed to be this one who mentored the lawyers and the Howard, this head teacher.
Caliph,
this head teacher of
Ayub,
but he doesn't have. You even keep wondering. A mentor now has, the person who was mentoring now having a.
It happens.
Having the badge. But I think we need to have more of these people on board, because one other thing that is going to come to us is that the congestion in fixtures are going to come very soon. The regional league is starting, big league is now on, and the FUFA would want to have referees home-based here to actually officiate. We'll have the primary school things coming. We'll have the post-primary coming. We need all that to happen at a go. Do we have all these people within? So I think it is a plus, and we actually need more. But the most important thing is that how many of these tournaments are we going to have? Because for a referee to be very effective, needs to be officiating at top levels. So again, it should be challenging the organizers of tournaments to bring in more of these, so that we can keep the referees and keep other stakeholders up to date, just like we want to keep the players.
Okay, we are going to be taking a break, but of course, when we take this break, we'll be coming back to give you more of the Uganda Premier League action that is right on card today at Greenlight Stadium. But of course, you did also see a couple of games that were played in the previous where, of course, that is Barifa. You also did see Arua Hill Sports Club play also another big game against Toro and won the game. Now, today at that is Greenlight, what could Oscar say? What do you think with this team and good? Probably a Wakiso team that is very rejuvenated. They are on point. They're on form. That's one big thing. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
West Nile TV. Meyuder Ingamwa.
To either be led and shepherded by Jesus Christ.
Radio Network. He is also with the West Nile Press Association.
Viewer, and welcome to the Viewpoint on West Nile Television.
On the 19th of December 1993, and was ordained a deacon.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Hey, why aren't I up there?
My heart, say you love.
Arua Hill Sports Club, when that saga of Mbabazi.
West Nile Television is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Couple of games on action today in the UPL, all the Star Times Uganda Premier League, where of course couple of big games come on your way, and the Uganda Premier League returns live at Greenlight Stadium in Arua City, where of course West Nile TV offices are also in Arua City, but of course for us we're in Weatherhead, Park Lane, and for them they are in Onduparaka, and that's where we shall be heading after here. Now of course couple of games are on card, where Bull takes on Busoga United, you have of course Express on Mbarara, and then of course Police takes on Gaddafi. Villa will be welcoming of course URA, as of course Onduparaka welcomes Wakiso Giants. A couple of big games on card, but of course let's start with that big game at Greenlight Stadium. Onduparaka welcomes Wakiso Giants, and Wakiso in their previous game they look very good. They have got very, very big games that they have played. They have if you look at where probably they are standing, it's not very bad for them. Yeah, not very bad, because it is one of the biggest actions that you could be seeing, and as I talk, probably they are aligning at top 4, at number 4 with 15 points to their name, and they are looking forward to see that this game is also another game to watch in there. Now a couple of names as I talk right now. Let's talk about the teams that are going to play for the team. One, you're seeing that the home team has the man by the names of Mwanga, Adriko, Amayo, and then Hamza, Jimmy, Katerega, Mansur, Muhajid, that is of course the boy who loves playing Baden, Baden, and then Okech, Emmanuel, Rashid, Yakini, then Muhammad Shaban starting in right there. You have Mukule, and then of course Lido, you have Bogere, you have Bukenya, Kasule, and then of course Kimboa, and not forgetting Lubwama, Matsko, and of course Namwanje, and not forgetting Satulo and Waswa, all starting for the team of, that is, Wakiso Giants. So let's look at these two teams. Probably the names who are out. You have Jerioko, you have Adino, you have Oloro, you have Okello, you have of course Aniku Martin and Rogers. Then of course you have here Kagwa, Komakech, Lukoye, Masiko, then Mwanga, and of course Sebufu, Senyonjo are all outside. Still Agao misses. I mean the man Rashid Okocha still misses in this team in there for Onduparaka Football Club. Let's start from there. What do you see this game like, and how do you see the two teams? It's still the man by the names of Lutalo still taking charge of the team.
I would love to see a lot of things change from the previous game that Onduparaka played. The game that we analyzed at length, I think the game that ended 1-1. That was one of the most interesting games I watched. I remember the analysis that we did here showed that at least there was a lot that that needs to be actually done. But the onus is again to the coach. How much is he willing to change? How rigid is he going to be, or is going to be willing to be flexible? Because time and again I keep asking. You see, as a coach, the reason why you have many players to choose from is to have a depth in squad, is to give you an idea, possibly to plan which players are good for which game. Not every player is good for every game. There are some players who can be consistent, but not every player is consistent in every game. There are games where you need to go physical. Do you have the physical players? There are games that you feel, according to the strength of your opponents and according to your tactics, you're supposed to go with 2 wide players, 2 maybe traditional wingers. Do you have them? There are games you want to approach with 2 strikers because you want to score 2 or more goals in the game. Do you have the 2 strikers? How reliable are they? There are games you probably need to control from the midfield. How effective are the midfielders? I think these are some of the things I would like to see. A question I keep asking myself, what is wrong with Aniku Martin? Is he injured or he is not? Possibly, why is it that the coaches don't see it very important to have an experienced center back? Now that for now you don't have Dudu Ramadan, according to the last game he didn't feature. Then I expected to have, you're playing Geriga. Geriga is not that comfortable on the ball. He is still a player who is learning. And when you have bully strikers, can easily get the best out of him. Now you can put a player who needs to get experience with that one who is experienced. Time and again, they have been seeing them when they make substitutions. Aniku Martin is played as a midfielder, for which I feel that if you want to achieve what they have started, according to what I saw in that game against Express, wanting to build a play from the back. The very good player you need is Nico Martin, because he doesn't play under pressure. He knows how to pass the ball. He will receive the ball, and he has the physique. He knows how to shield the ball. I don't know. That is from my perspective, because that is the way I see how the centre-back, quality of a good centre-back is supposed to be. It's not bad to play Geriga, but whom are you playing him against? I remember how Arsene Wenger introduced Fabregas into the Arsenal team. Patrick Vieira was in that team, but Arsene Wenger thought it wise, I need to have Patrick Vieira alongside Cesc Fabregas, knowing that at one point, this Patrick Vieira is going to leave, but who is going to stand there? Do I need to go and scratch my head to buy somebody? I have this person here. This person just needs a game playing time, that experience, and then from there, he's made permanent. So I think this is one thing that Onduparaka needs to embrace. Maybe he will get it right in today's game. We're yet to see. But honestly speaking, one other player that I am not so comfortable with at the back, especially when you want to play a free-flowing football, a football where you want to pass the game, you want to build a play from the back, you make transitions. I don't think Yakin is a very good player in that type of a system. But in a game where you need to go dirty, you need to defend, you need somebody to go man on man, that is where you go with Yakini. That is how best I know Yakini. But if you want to play Yakini in every game, the question is, do you really know your opponents? That is the most important question. Questions. Putting in mind that most of the teams in Uganda don't have much analysis. Somebody who gives the coaching staff an idea of how the opponents are, of how they play, how is their weakness, what should be done. Somebody who makes the work easier for the coaches to know which players to go with. Then I think most coaches go traditional. You use the first 15 minutes to study your opponents, and that is costly. The first 15 minutes you might go 3 goals down, but all the same, the question still stands: how best does George Lutalo know his opponents?
That's the question we'll be asking him maybe in the next game that will be coming. But of course, most of the times he talks about knowing what he is going for, and the focus is always on the game that comes up next. So it's one big thing that we will be talking about. But of course, let's go out from there and go international, and let's start it with the biggest story that broke up yesterday about, of course, Manchester United about to finish, of course, getting an assistant coach. But now again, this very afternoon, we did see reports saying that the man is saying no. He's rejecting coming to Manchester United. That's one big story that is moving viral. But of course, he has been with Red Bull, and he has been there for quite a long time. At RB Leipzig, he was with Ralf Rangnick, and Red Bull is where he is. I'm talking about the man Stabba, who has been, of course, one of the key names into the list who is supposed to come right there. The producer will be giving you a photo of him as we take this in there. Manchester United, if you look at the technical team, the other day, you will see that barely Man U has no any other technical team apart from Rangnick himself, then Phil Neville, and then, of course, the man by the names of Mike Phelan. They were the names who were there. Who, of course, McKenna. Then, of course, if you look at the rest, nothing. You would see that merely he was alone. The bench that was supposed to be for the technical team, nobody was there. And out of all this, is he going to manage all what he needs? He had said, oh, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, he will get someone. Now that this is the man, of course, Gahid Straba is saying, no, I'm not coming. Papers are writing that. And how bad is that for Manchester United and for Rangnick?
Well, it's a big blow. One, because Rangnick knows that he has been with this gentleman for a very long time, and everywhere he goes, just like how Jose Mourinho has been, it was just his coming to Spurs that he had to actually hire Jose Sacramento to come with him. Otherwise, he has been moving. FC Porto, Chelsea, AC Milan, Madrid, he has been moving with the same person. But this, when a job offer comes, you take a cost-benefit analysis. I love the approach that this coach has actually come in.
Ralph.
You want me to come to Manchester United, bearing in mind that Rangnick did not sign a 3 years contract. He signed a 6 months contract. So why should I lose my job at RB Leipzig, come and stay at Manchester United for 6 months? Because there is no guarantee that Manchester United might decide to stick with Ralph even after the 6 months. Because big names will be available
already. Erik ten Hag is open.
Erik ten Hag will be there. You'll have Zinedine Zidane open. You'll have Mauricio Pochettino open to come in the summer. The question is, will these people be willing to work with me? Because, and yet they don't know me. So he has taken a very good cost-benefit analysis that the benefit of staying at RB Leipzig is better than coming to stay at Manchester United for 6 months. Because when Ralph will get a consultancy role at United after the 6 months, what will be up next for the coaching team? So if there anybody he wants to, the other people he wants to bring, the people should only be those who are coming to stay for a period of 6 months, unless there is an insurance, a clause in the contract that you can even go beyond 6 months if you choose to. But for now, I think I support him that I really can't leave a permanent job to come for a gig of 6 months. It's just like another media house saying, oh, and we want you for 3 months. Yeah, we are going to be paying you well. Maybe like maybe slightly some money more than what you're earning, but it's only a gig of 3 months. Why would you be tempted to lose the permanent job to go for a job of where you know anytime soon they can say, we're not satisfied with your service, but you remember you already lost the bigger one.
Yeah, of course, that's one of the biggest things. But of course, we are saying it's one big information that has really gone in there. For Man U fans, they may not love it, but for us, we know why probably this could have come. And it's one thing the man is saying no. So Manchester United will need to look for another, because Michael Carrick also did have a departure, saying he should move off there and first go and rest with his family. 17 years down the road, he has been at Manchester doing a lot, so he needs to go and have a rest. That's one of the big. Now, yesterday you did see game that came through Everton and Arsenal, and that Arsenal team still had to lose again to Everton. And this is one thing. Remember, Everton's coach Carlo Ancelotti was under pressure, probably anytime to lose. Rafa Benitez to lose his job. Carlo is now in Real Madrid. He left, but now he was about to lose his job, and this is this win probably has come timely for him, beating, of course, the team of Arsenal 2-1. What went wrong for Mikel Arteta in this game? And what went good for Rafa Benitez, maybe?
Well, what went on well for Rafa Benitez is that he was playing under pressure. When a coach is playing under pressure, you've just gotten a job. You know how difficult it is to get jobs. He was with Newcastle United. After having sacrificed a lot with Newcastle United, went down with Newcastle United to the Championship, came back with them, struggled with them, went to, in fact, he's the manager who got the best of the likes of Ayoze Perez, the likes of Jamal Lascelles, couple of them, the likes of Sean Longstaff came later. But he went to China. Me, I expected him now to stay in China. If I go to China, I'm just going to make money. So after in China, he decided to come back to the Premier League. They want that competitive type of atmosphere. But his job was at stake, and you don't expect him to just lose that game against Arsenal. Arsenal is always beatable if you know how to play your cards right. Just like the same way United got the best out, Liverpool got the best out of them, that was eminent. Manchester United got the best out of them. I didn't expect Everton not to beat Arsenal, especially that they were playing at home and they were under pressure. One thing with Arsenal doesn't know how to defend a lead. Which game has Arsenal scored first, defended, and they did not concede? It's almost not there. So, and they have been boasting, we have Gabriel Mireles, we have Ben White. You signed Ben White for 50 million. That is what you get. So, with due respect to Arsenal fans, I am all optimistic that Arsenal fan Arsenal team is a team that they're trying to put some chemistry together. But where Arteta doesn't get it right is that you can't build a team basically focusing on the young talent. You need to have experience in that team. There always has to be a 30-year-old in that team. There always has to be a 33-year-old not to play regular football.
Well, 29.
Yes,
from there.
You need to have players who offer that experience, first-hand experience in a game. Back in the days, whether Everton is however on form they are, they don't come close to beating Arsenal. They've always had that history. Even Tottenham Hotspurs, however good they are, when they come against Arsenal, they're always bound to lose. Now, you have a 30-year-old Alexander Lacazette that you want to offload. And remember, in the game against Manchester United, the team captain, Aubameyang, was almost useless in the game. And that should give you a picture of which players should I pick for this team. I think that's where Arteta is not getting it right. He was at one point under pressure when he lost the first 3 games of the season, and Arsenal was at the bottom. They have to make amends, and they have now come. I think right now Arsenal should be around number 7. That is, they now feel there's that comfort, and I still believe that the board is not giving them too much pressure. Now he has lost 3 games in a row. That is too bad for a team like Arsenal. When is Arsenal going to be able to challenge for the Barclays Premier League? You now have City sitting top. You have Liverpool following. You have Chelsea coming up. You have West Ham United. After West Ham United, you have Tottenham Hotspurs. So you have these teams, and these teams are not ready to throw away points. West Ham United now can afford to beat Chelsea. But when will Arsenal be in that position to afford to beat Chelsea or Manchester City? Remember, they have spent even more on that West Ham United. So I think the problem at Arsenal is that these people, they keep thinking that it's a project that needs a lot of time. In the Premier League era we have now, you don't have a lot of time to prove yourself. When you've been hired as a coach, your job starts there to prove yourself. Otherwise, the same thing is going to happen. The same thing that's happened to Everton is going to happen to Arsenal at one point. Everton now, apart from the time when David Moyes was there, Everton cannot challenge for Europe. Unless they're going for, the last time it was around, remember that period of 2004-5 season when Arsenal finished number 4. There was that period when it was a must. Either there was going to be Everton to finish at number 4, or Tottenham or Arsenal. The result was dependent on the last day. There was even an allegation of food poisoning, where it was alleged that Tottenham Hotspur's players were poisoned, and Arsenal had to make it on the last day to clinch number 4. And in that very season, it was a season that Everton was supposed to actually finish number 4, but they finished away behind, but they went for Europa. Now, you couldn't believe that Everton now is a 9-time champion of the Premier League. They have won it 9 times. They have even won it more than that. By the way, in terms of pedigree, they're bigger than Manchester City. Manchester City have not even won coming close to 7. But they have won 9. And probably a team that has won Champions League, even a team that is bigger than Arsenal, when you get to history in Europe, Aston Villa. Where is Aston Villa? They have won UEFA Champions League, but Arsenal only went to the final. Nottingham Forest, that was probably one of the biggest clubs by then. Where is Nottingham Forest? They can't even come close, even if in the FA Cup. So these things start slowly like this, and I see Arsenal is dragging itself into that type of a trap. They've never been relegated, but you see the way Arsenal's performance is dwindling, the quality of the players they have. Back in the days, you will not see players like the Odegaards being consistent figures in Team Arsenal.
Okay, that's one of the biggest, and we're wrapping this up. Our time is already up with the fixtures of the FA round, of course, the 3rd rounds.
And the Champions League.
And, of course, the Champions League games that are right today on Kada. But, of course, we are not going to be discussing much about this. But the producer will be giving you the games that are, of course, coming right to, of course, on the FM. The rounds are in there. We look where your team lies, and that's where your team will be like. Probably there, Tottenham on, of course, Amori Kambe, and then of course you have Millwall against Crystal Palace, Port Vale against Bradford, who are on form, of course Sweden Town against Man City, and Wigan Athletics against Blackburn Rovers. You have Luton Town against, of course, Harrogate Town, and of course you having Birmingham City, who will of course play, will go against, that is the Plymouth, and you have Manchester United against Aston Villa. That's the the Emirates FA Cup, of course, third round draws that came in there, and the ties will be played over. That is the weekend, 7th of January. That's when they will be starting right there. So that's one of the biggest probably we will want to wind up with. But of course, before we close that up, Champions League returns today with PSG taking on Club Brugge, RB Leipzig taking on Man City, and of course FC Porto takes on Atletico Madrid, AC Milan welcomes Liverpool, Ajax takes on Sporting CP, and Dortmund takes on, of course, Besiktas, Real Madrid takes on Inter, and Shakhtar Donetsk takes on FC Sheriff right there. One of your key game that you would love to talk about as we summarize this and we get off
the key game is FC Porto versus Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid find themselves in a very tricky situation that they must win to have a chance of progressing. This is one of the most tricky situations that my man Diego Simeone has actually found himself in. He's one of the most, I remember at one point Everton were actually, they wanted him. He's one of the coaches that, to me, is so traditional. He's not flexible in his style of play. A good coach would have gotten the best out of João Felix, but you really don't see that. Instead, the edgy players are the ones who are having a good run under him. If you see the likes of Luis Suarez, he also wants Alexander Lacazette, even Kylian Trippier. Those is a target for Newcastle United. Now you see Newcastle United, the players that they want, the Kylian Trippiers. I mean, but all the same, these are all issues of this place. You know them.
Let's summarize this up. And of course, I want to say it's been a pleasure having you right on the show watching. And I want to say it is also another interesting one, probably for us to end this edition right there. We are heading to Greenlight Stadium to see how these games will be. But tomorrow we'll be coming back to give you more of the biggest stories. Remember, tomorrow, so UEFA Champions League return on card. My name is Owen. And of course, I was with Oscar, the Brazilian. But of course, remember, BE, of course, tips gives you the best odds and gives you the best sure wins that you could always get and bet India. So what you just need to do is to go to www.betips.winner. Of course, winner, you will be one in there. That's the website. So just go click there. For you to bet instantly, you need BE tips. And I want to say thanks and salutation to, that is Opac Jonathan, and of course the man behind the camera, not forgetting of course the producer right there, Mr. Nathan in right there. But of course
me I want to salute Opac and his family. I don't want to ignore his family.
Let's take a break and say this is the break for today. But of course, tomorrow we'll be coming back. So up next, you'll be having another interesting moment, the movies, and of course, you'll also be having the Chuku Chuku that will be coming up right there. You saw what happened in the morning where people who stole our ambulance also. I don't want to go to that is the Coco Lyrico. It comes every morning from 9. Stay right hooked and good afternoon.